Day 2 of Big 12 Media Days wrapping up here in Dallas, Texas at the Omni Hotel. Earlier this morning, we heard from Executive Director of the College Football Playoff, Bill Hancock. He talked about how the 4 teams that made the playoff were the right choice. They were the 4 best teams, much to the chagrin of the Baylor and TCU faithful. What do you think about that?
I mean, you know, one of the things he was talking about is that when it comes down to it, the 4 best teams, not the 4 conference champions that were the best got in. And he was making a good point. Ohio State was 1 loss away from maybe there being 2 Big 12 teams that made it into the playoffs. They take a gamble with that extra game, and after that he said if Ohio State loses, the Big 12 looks like they might be the smartest people out there because they didn't have that extra game, and now they're sitting pretty with 2 out of 4 teams in there. So when you come down to it, it's just, you know, you live with it. You kind of have to just regret it at the end of the day, but you look forward, and who knows, next year could be the same scenario. Maybe 2 teams get in because the conference champion loses in the last game.
Moving ahead to this season, one of the teams that was left out of that playoff last season was Baylor. They were here today. Talk a little bit about what you saw from them.
Well, Art Briles, he's a great guy when you hear him. He's up here, he's telling jokes, he's interacting with the media, and that's one of the great things. And a big surprise was kind of like TCU. Everyone knows that they've got an amazing offense. Boykin for TCU, Russell this year will be the starting quarterback at Baylor, but he's got a lot of faith in his defense. He even said that his defensive line, they may be the best in the country.
Yeah, he also said his offense was one of the best in the country as well.
I mean, but there's no arguing with that.
There's no arguing with that at all. You're absolutely right. 2 of those defensive linemen were here today, Sean Oakman, Andrew Billings. Those are big human beings, folks. Those memes of Sean Oakman were not a joke. What do you think is going to happen for the Baylor defense coming up this season? They're going to face a new OU offense and a reloaded TCU offense.
I mean, I think one of the things is a lot of people, they're not going to be sleeping on their defense anymore. Everyone knew it was time to get ready for the Baylor offense when they came to town or you went to Waco. But people know that this is going to be a big-time defense. And guys like Sean Oakman, all the memes out there, everyone knows who he is. He's going to get double-teamed. But one of the things, if you got faith in your team like Art Briles does, he said that play at the defensive line, that'll even make his secondary better. And so when you got guys in the secondary flying around who aren't afraid to make plays, there's no doubt that, I mean, they were one of the top teams last year. They're going to be right there at the beginning of the season.
Let's move to the reason that we were here this morning, and that is the Oklahoma Sooners.
OU.
Bob Stoops came here in the main ballroom at about 10:40 in the morning for his press conference. A lot about what he talked about was about Joe Mixon and how the university handled that situation. What do you take out of that?
I mean, he had a good point. He started off by saying that, first of all, there is no room for domestic violence or any violence. But when there is, it's got to be dealt with and disciplined correctly. And he made sure he let everyone know. Joe Mixon was disciplined. He took a whole year off. He wasn't allowed with any of the team activities. And so he says we handled it the way that we feel was best, but he's not going to sit there and act like nothing happened. And I mean, it's good that he's out here, he's answering those questions, and he's acknowledging that there was a problem, but it's been dealt with. It's time to move forward.
He talked a little bit about the offense as well. And the news on that quarterback situation is that there is no news. However, Trevor Knight was here today to make his second Big 12 Media Days appearance. I talked to him. He seemed very excited about the new offense, excited about the competition with Mayfield, and Cody Thomas is still in there on the heels of Mayfield and Knight, according to Coach Stoops. Who do you think edges out at the end of the day at that quarterback position?
At the end of the day, I mean, I'm going to go with Trevor Knight. He was the guy who's been here. He's got a little more chemistry with this team. He's been around for more years. I mean, Sterling Shepard, that's his go-to guy, and that's the main guy on this offense. And so when you think about the chemistry he has, he's got that leadership mentality. And Baker Mayfield's got a great leadership person too. He's great. But Knight, the reason he's here is he knows how to speak. He knows how to get the team behind him. And I think at the end of the day, it's just that, along with the ability that he's going to be building on from last year, he'll be the guy calling the shots at the beginning of the season.
We had a lot of fun here in Dallas, Texas at Big 12 Media Days. We're all done here, but join us August 8th where we have OU Media Day in Norman. We will be there bright and early in the morning. We'll see you then.